What up? It's your girl, just Nurse Jen, vlogging from bed. This is what the majority of my days are like. I'm laying on a heating pad because my joints are absolutely killing me. I have like the worst bruised eye headache ever right now. The thought of trying to get out of bed is like mind-bendingly crippling. Not getting to see me. Oh my gosh, my eyes are killing me. And when I have scleritis attacks, this eye, which actually had, sorry, the camera is not even steady right now. This eye had ulcers that burned straight through my iris and my cornea, or my sclera, whatever, my cornea, my iris. And so as a result, this eye starts doing funky, wonky things, and it always looks really bad. Or it looks like I'm really tired, and I'm not. I sleep so much. It's unbelievable how much I sleep. But oh God, the SI joints of my lower back, like where your hip bones, like if you were to go in from your hip bones by about 2 or 3 inches and down about 1 inch, you'd be like right at your SI joint. And I've contemplated sharing this with you guys. I feel like people don't take me seriously. And I try and stay positive when I'm at work. My patients always will get to see me being 1,000,000,000% happy-go-lucky or positive. If people only understood that I am giving my all to be at work, that just this weekend I pushed myself so hard after my son's Citizen of the Year or Citizenship of the Year award ceremony. I went out to dinner, and then after that I felt excited and it felt really good, so I went for a walk. And that walk, so close to having to be awake 24 hours with pretty hardcore physical activity. I got to sleep a little bit on the car ride to Mount St. Helens, but then we went for an insane hike. It should never happen with this age range on a field trip nonetheless, but we did. We all made it back in one piece, but that was just pushing my body to its absolute most extreme. And unfortunately, there's a price to pay for every decision that I make. There's a price to pay physically, even if it's as much as deciding to sleep in bed. When you have lupus, RA, and ankylosing spondylitis, which are all connective tissue diseases, I've been suffering with what we believe to be lupus. Like, if I get really stressed and I'm not wearing my like water sweatproof makeup, the butterfly rash will come and it goes over your nose and it comes up and over. Hence why I have my lupus butterfly. We thought my mom had lupus too. Lupus and RA and even ankylosing spondylitis, those three, they are not something that's definitively done by blood tests or radiology testing. It is done predominantly by symptoms. or diagnosed by symptoms. So people's presentation is the biggest thing. And like my knees will get really bad, but I get injections into my knees, a steroidal injection, which is just a really powerful anti-inflammatory. And yeah, there are limits for how often and how much you can have in your lifetime. So I know that this is debilitating. I have esophageal and gastroesophageal issues. I don't know what the autoimmune condition name for that is. Of course, we have my scleritis, and actually the ankylosing spondylitis can cause anterior uveitis. I have anterior scleritis, but it can cause symptoms of or the diagnosis of anterior uveitis. And those are the only ones I'm comfortable talking about on camera. When people see me walking around and bouncing around work, I am pushing my body to its absolute breaking point to look normal and appear normal and be normal. Yes, would it be easy to take the easy man's road and file for disability? Of course it would. Of course it would. Who wouldn't want to not be at home all the time and not having to work and getting a paycheck or a disability check? But that's not what I want in my life. I worked so hard, now knowing all the things that I had going on were my autoimmune conditions that just weren't named yet when I was going through nursing school, and all those extensive surgeries. I had a multitude of things that were like 1 in 20 million, 1 in 3 million, 1 in a million. I and my mom have had conditions that are all so incredibly rare. And to have so many of them in one body is outrageous. How do I do it? I don't know. I try to stay positive. I'm not always positive, of course. My coworkers know when I have bad days. My husband knows when I have a bad day. And I'm bleeping every other word out. But for the most part, there's so much more good in life than bad.
And I love what I do. If I didn't work, I don't know that I would, you can fill in the blank. Having a job, along with being married and being a mom, having a job gives me a sense of purpose. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it.
And of course, when you have autoimmune conditions that affect your joints and your connective tissue, so someday my skin even hurts. Every inch of my skin, it feels like someone's just pinching every area on my whole body, the skin. I don't know what that's from. I have no idea, and I'm too scared to ask at this point. We have so many other appointments. There's so many appointments I need to be going to, and I haven't been going to them because, yeah, I should move to the big city, and then I'd have access to those services better, or more easily, more readily available. But I do love being in this small town. My husband loves being in the small town. My son is matriculated here. I just don't want to leave. So yeah, I sacrifice which appointments I'm able to go to when I am able to go to them, but it's worth it in the end. And I do love what I do. And I just hope that shows. Because these connective tissue disorders, most people don't get to see the other side of it. Connective tissue disorders, you spend a lot of time in bed. And one of the important things is physical activity. Usually once you're out and about, you start to feel better. And I do. I really do. People can attest to that at work. I will have my bad moments, and I push myself way too hard. But after a talk with some people at work, I've learned I don't have to push myself that hard anymore, so I'm not going to. Simple as that. Just gonna take it easier and do what I need to do and just be there as support. But I love my support system, and all I have to say is anybody suffering with this, there are going to be really bad days. And anybody who doesn't have a friend yet with an autoimmune condition, just have a little bit of sympathy for them and what they're going through. And you have to believe that when they're not able to do things. They're legitimately not able to do things. I would not wish this on anybody, and anybody going through this would not wish that on anybody else. So, just a sneak peek into my life. So naturally, this would be where the video would have ended. And I decided after reviewing it, as I felt better, obviously my glasses are off, my eyes not acting as bad. And by the way, yes, if you can tell the difference, that my left eye, which is the right eye when you see this, if my left eye looks smaller on camera, it has become smaller as a result of going blind very suddenly and having that sclerotic attack, the scleritis. The very first attack, which I went blind from, where the ulcer went through, after all the different treatments and whatnot, once we did the prednisone and I started on different subcutaneous biologics like Humira, and then eventually making my way to the intravenous. So you get an IV and then you sit there for a couple hours as the medication infuses. With all of that time, it was about 2 years. I had 2 flares in 2 years where I actually went blind and had to be transferred to OHSU, which is a big level 1 trauma center in Portland. There's 2 major level 1 trauma centers, which is the highest level of facility you can go to. It means that they have a specialist of every single nature on call 24 hours a day.
That's pretty substantial to think every single type of specialist is at or within 20 minutes away from being at the hospital. So, pretty big deal.
They have 2 of those within 10 minutes away from one another, depending on traffic, but it's really close together. So, needless to say, I went to one of those and had excellent care. And as a result of all the different tests and specials that I've now been so fortunate to have on my team, I've started to notice that yes, there is a difference in my 2 eyes. So my left eye is smaller. Your body is never completely symmetrical, but my eyes have always been symmetrical, and I never had problems with my eye looking like a lazy eye. And in the video, you'll notice that I roll my eyes a lot because they were really bothering me. The bruising was really pretty substantial.
But I wanted you to get a glimpse at what I'm truly like. People hear me talking about it, and it's for real, yo. I didn't do my hair today. I didn't do my makeup today. And
you can kind of see. Like right here's rosacea, which is an autoimmune condition also. Autoimmune condition basically means your body's immune system, which is meant to defend from infection and defend from things that could threaten you or your life. Your immune system is your army, your navy, your coast guard and marines. Like, that is what your immune system is supposed to do. Well, your immune system is doing friendly fire. So instead of going to war against invaders who could threaten your civil liberties,
I always like to think of things in terms of how can somebody else understand this.
So instead of going against the bad guys, it is friendly firing. It's deciding to attack me. And so lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, those are 2 that are connective tissue disorders, meaning that the tiny little bits that hold your cells together, so like your skin is a connective tissue, certain types of muscles are connective tissue, certain joints are even affected by the connective tissues holding them together. Like I said before, typically it's the big joints, but I will even have it down in every little joint. I can feel every single one of my joints screaming, throbbing. I feel like a crash test dummy more days than not. There are some days like I just can't do it and I have to tap out and say I can't come to work because of this. But
like the old 80s crash, or maybe it was the 90s crash test dummies, where you push the button in the center and everything pops off. Those dummies, only the major body parts came off of the torso. In my crash test dummy, I feel like my fingers should shoot off, the fingers should come apart in all of their different segments, my head should pop off, all my lumbar spines should come apart like a legitimate crash test dummy.
Anyway, rosacea is a dermatologic autoimmune condition, so there's really not much you can do for it. I mean, you can get injections and stuff. On an intravenous, so Remicade is a biologic, which is different than chemotherapy because it doesn't attack your white blood cells. So your Army, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines. I always forget that one. I don't know why. Like, they're the robust ones. And all my other family members and friends and everybody else that live near here who are Coast Guard and Navy are gonna shoot me for this. Sorry, I should just say the defenses. But anyway, lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I'm on a biologic, which helps to protect your Army defenders, and trying to go back onto like Humira and stuff like that. You can't double up on those. So it's basically I'm on the stronger of the two that helps protect my eyes as well as my joints. I'm also on chemotherapy orally, and so I do have to be careful because it does affect my white cell count, my liver, my kidneys. We have to watch out for those. But anyway, right now, more on this side. You can see it not as well as it was. It's been fading, so you might see it somewhat in the camera frame, hopefully on the actual recording. That is the lupus butterfly, and it can get bright red. Right here with some of there's no zits or anything right there. That is true lupus, like skin, no bruises, nothing. And then of course I have skin discoloration, hyperpigmentation, because I can't be in the sun with any of my autoimmune conditions. So I have to protect my eyes from the ultraviolet light. I already get sclerotic attacks. My eye is smaller than my other eye now, and it will get like, it does its own weird wild thing where it doesn't, like, I used to be able to squint my eyes together. But in addition to that, the ankylosing spondylitis, that affects most of your spinal cord and the sacrum. What can happen as a result of ankylosing spondylitis? All of your lumbar, especially your lumbar joint and your sacrum, which is basically part of your pelvic setup. Sorry, I lose my train of thought too, which is believed to be part of something else that I have to go to an ocular neurologist for. And I can't get MRIs, so this is gonna be real fun. Oh girl, she's gonna be a hot mess when we get done with all these appointments. But anyway, I forget certain words, and so I struggle with words, but I know what I want to say. So thank God strokes don't run in my family, otherwise we'd be thinking of something like strokes. But we're good. Just struggle sometimes to find the right word, like scleritis. Your sclera is the white part of your eye, and I have, typically they see it when I have my really bad flares. It's anterior scleritis, so it's in the front part of my eye. My mom has her whole entire eye, so the posterior, anterior, and then I'm trying to remember the other one. She gets it all. She gets all three types of scleritis. But my eyes don't turn bloodshot red like hers do. Mine, they can tell because there's like a really weird purple hue to my eye, and like my veins in my eyes, when I have a scleritis attack, the veins get really dark red. Dark, bright red. It's almost like somebody who smokes pot or who's around a lot of pot, their eyes get bloodshot. My eyes, when I have a scleritis attack, don't turn blood red, so the sclera is not blood red like my mom's eyes look like Satan eyes. whatever. That's what we call them, devil eyes. My veins get really purple sometimes, or really bright dark red, like you're around somebody who's smoking too much pot, or somebody who you've seen that has bloodshot eyes. And then if you get really, really close, if it's a really bad flare, they'll see the purple hues. I'll try and see if I can insert clips of after my first visit when I went blind, the photos that my sister took when we were in the doctor's office. You'll kind of be able to see the color. I couldn't tell how they knew, but there's certain parts of the eye I was like, oh yeah, okay, that looks like what I've seen on Google, or close to what I've seen on Google. Granted, I had been on strong IV every 4 hours, Solumedrol 125 milligrams, and other antibiotics and eye drops, steroidal eye drops, and every hour they were waking me up to put these darn eye drops in. So I had a lot going on. So by that point, when I finally got to follow up and be seen in the clinic by my specialist, a lot of all of that stuff had calmed down. There'll be some spots where my eyes are dry. That's just because of how many times they had to keep prying my eyes open because I couldn't open them. Felt like there was sand stuck in my eyes that whole time. So every time they had to do any looking in my eyes, somebody had to be there to pry them open. And yeah, as a result, this eye, when you look at it, they're very asymmetrical right now. So how am I going to try and make my eyes? I hope this has been informative. Yeah, this is just a different side of me, just a different shade of Jen. Bye.